Can you solve all these Class 3 ifs? Chapter 7, saying without speaking questions. One who cannot hear.
Bravo, diff is the answer. We see through the correct response. I is the most accurate answer.
Who likes Ling Hai Fen?
You got it. Your choice, Lee, is right.
Chuku is deaf by birth.
Exactly. True makes sense and it is right choice.
Nandu's sister Chaku was
on track. Diff is the correct answer.
Rihanna is afraid of dogs.
Well done. True is the right choice.
The person who can't speak.
Strong choice. Dumb is the right answer.
We have dash sense organs.
Sharp thinking. 5 is the right choice.
Wheelchair is used by dash.
Excellent. Physically challenged is a brilliant choice.
Who invented Braille script?
Well picked. Louis Braille is the correct answer.
Blind people are called dash.
Nice selection. Visually impaired is the correct and valid answer.
What is the function of tongue?
Excellent choice. To taste and speak is the right answer.
Chaku can play piano very well.
Perfect. True is the correct choice.
The script used by blind people.
You chose Braille, and it is correct.
Which one is not a sense organ?
Nicely done. Teeth is a solid answer.
Hand expressions are called dash.
Valid point. My address is true.
Which is the largest sense organ?
Clear logic. Your choice skin is sound and 100% true.
Wheat dash part of potato plant.
You're right. Stem is the correct answer.
We are all special in our own ways.
Great job. True is the accurate answer.
The person who cannot hear is deaf.
Good thinking. True is the right answer.
Mudras are example of sign language.
Correct. True is the right answer.
Facial expressions are called bhavs.
Smart move. True is an accurate answer.
Which of the following is are edible?
Well reasoned. All of these is the correct choice.
The people who cannot see is called
smart pick. Blind is the correct choice.
How many sense organs do we have dash?
Nice work. You chose 5 and it is correct.
Telling through fingers is called dash.
Good job. Your answer mudra works well here.
The person who cannot hear is called
solid response. Deaf is a valid choice.
Helen Keller was born in which country?
Right choice. America is the best answer.
Nandu and Chaku were brother and sister.
Great thinking. True is the right choice.
Human beings have how many sense organs?
Right again. 5 is a valid answer.
People who cannot speak are called dash.
Bravo. Dumb is the answer.
In dance, we use dash to say our feelings.
Good thinking. Fingers is the right answer.
What do we call a person who cannot hear?
You got it. Your choice diff is right. Hands and face in dance conveys feelings. Nice work. You chose true and it is correct. We can tell our feelings without speaking. Well done. True is the right choice. Through dance, we can express our feelings. Great thinking. True is the right choice. The script used by blind people is called. Smart move. Braille script is an accurate answer. The person who cannot speak is called dumb. Valid point. True is true. How do you know if the neem leaf is bitter? You're right. Tongue is the correct answer. How many sense organs are there in our body? You chose 5, and it is correct.
We can only express our feelings by speaking.
Exactly. False makes sense and it is right choice.
Who taught Helen Keller how to read and write?
Excellent. Her teacher is a brilliant choice.
Children who cannot speak and hear learn dash.
Strong choice. Sign language is the right answer.
How do you know if the gas is leak in kitchen?
Good job. Your answer nose works well here.
Which among the following is not a sense organ?
Excellent choice. Mouth is the right answer.
Chaku's mother helps Chaku at home by lip read.
Right choice. True is the best answer.
Dash is the game which is played using actions.
Well reasoned. Dumb charades is the correct choice. Honey has a frown on her face. What is her mood? Nice selection. Sad is the correct and valid answer.
Which of the following is not prepared by rice?
Great job. Chapati is the accurate answer.
How do you feel when you get a chocolate to eat?
Right again. Happy is a valid answer. Blind people use dash language to read and write. Smart pick. Braille is the correct choice.
Person who speaks through actions are called dash.
Sharp thinking. Both deaf and dumb is the right choice.
We should be dash to physically challenged people.
Correct. Kind is the right answer. How many dot patterns are there in Braille script? Correct response. 6 is the most accurate answer.
What does Matya Mudra in Bharatanatyam signify?
Clear logic. Your choice fish is sound and 100% true. How do people who cannot hear or speak communicate? On track. All of these is the correct answer. How many classical dances are there in our country? Solid response. 8 is a valid choice. Do children who cannot hear and speak go to school? Nicely done. Yes is a solid answer.
Using which part of the body can a blind person read?
Perfect. Fingers is the correct choice.
Unjumble the letter and choose the correct word, D-bill.
Well picked. Blind is the correct answer.
In Danshash, the hands and face are used to convey feeling.
Great thinking. Dancing is the right choice.
People who can neither hear nor speak talk through dash.
solid response. Actions is a valid choice. The children who cannot speak and hear are taught dash. You're right. Sign language is the correct answer. The people who cannot hear or speak communicate through.
Excellent. Actions is a brilliant choice.
Person who talks through action are dash. Answer choices. Great job. Both deaf and dumb is the accurate answer. Children who cannot speak or hear learn dash in school.
Bravo! Sign language is the answer.
The person who can't communicate verbally is called dash. Smart pick. Dumb is the correct choice. In dance, facial expressions and actions express feelings. Sharp thinking. True is the right choice. Rama cannot speak. What do we call people who do not speak? Nicely done. Dumb is a solid answer. Which of the following is the classical dance of Tamil Nadu? Valid point. Bharatanatyam is true. The face is a mirror because it shows different expressions. Excellent choice. True is the right answer. Deaf and dumb people use dash, a language, to convey themselves. On track. Sign is the correct answer. The people who cannot speak use dash to express themselves. Correct.
Sing language is the right answer.
What is taught in the school where dumb and deaf children go? Good job. Your answer sign language works well here. We should understand the dash of those people who cannot speak. Nice work. You chose feeling, and it is correct. Right, true, or false? We should love the differently abled persons.
Well picked. True is the correct answer.
Choose the correct organ with the sense given below. Sense of sight? Exactly. Eyes make sense and it is right choice. Aftab's favorite toy was fallen and broken. How will his face look? Smart move. Sad is an accurate answer. Yamini's mother got angry because Yamini broke the bottle of pickle. You got it. Your choice true is right. Which of the following script is used for the people who cannot see? Strong choice. Braille script is the right answer. Tia broke her plate by chance. What will be her facial expression? Dash. You chose scared, and it is correct. Priya's doll fell down and broke. What might be her facial expression? Good thinking. Sad is the right answer. Using which part of the body a visually impaired person use to read dash? Nice selection. Fingers is the correct and valid answer. Birju Maharaj is associated with which of the following classical dance? Correct response. Kathak is the most accurate answer. Tia broke a plate accidentally. What might be her facial expression on it? Clear logic. Your choice scared is sound and 100% true. Which of the following activity can be done by a person who is deaf or dumb? Ooh. Right again. None of these is a valid answer. Which of the following activities a person who cannot hear or speak can do? Perfect.
Reading a book is the correct choice.
Laksha's father bought a new car for her. What might be her facial expression?
Right choice. Happy is the best answer.
Rukmani Devi is associated with which of the following classical dance of India?
Well done.
Bharatanatyam is the right choice.
Shreya could not understand maths questions. What might be her facial expression?
Well reasoned. Confused is the correct choice.
When you touch ice, you feel cool. Which sense organ gives sense of touch to you?
You're right. Skin is the correct answer.
Which is the game from the following where speaking is done with the help of actions?
Correct response. Dumb charades is the most accurate answer.
Julie's younger sister was born yesterday. She is very excited. How will her face look?
You got it. Your choice happy is right.
A game in which everyone has to let others know what they want tell without speaking is called.
Smart move. Dumb charades is an accurate answer.
How do we use these?
Right again. Dance is a valid answer.
The person who can't see.
Well picked. Blind is the correct answer.
This language is used by dash.
On track. Hearing and speech impaired is the correct answer.
Sign language indicate the number.
Valid point. 6 is true.
Mudras in dance can tell many things.
You chose true?
And it is correct.
Which feeling does this emoji convey?
Bravo. Angry is the answer.
Identify the person in the given picture.
Clear logic. Your choice, Helen Keller, is sound and 100% true.
In traffic signal, what does red symbolize?
Well reasoned. Stop is the correct choice.
Which of the following people require Braille script?
Nice work. You chose blind and it is correct.
Identify this personality who was the first deaf and dumb to be a graduate.
Well done. Helen Keller is the right choice.
Raju's doctor checked him using the instrument shown in the figure. He checked Raju's dash.
Good job. Your answer weight works well here.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
Good thinking. Contact Narayan Changda on Facebook is the right answer.